Good afternoon, ma'am. I noticed this hedge has gotten pretty overwhelming.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who are you?
My name's Ryan. I was wondering if you'd let me help clear some of this for you.
My arthritis got so bad I couldn't keep up anymore, and now the HOA says I owe a $750 fine.
Don't worry about today. I'll do everything I can to help you get this place back in shape.
I honestly thought nobody cared anymore.
I was driving through a quiet neighborhood when something immediately caught my attention. Along the side of a small house stood a massive wall of overgrown bougainvillea covered in bright purple flowers. At first it looked beautiful, but as I got closer, I realized it had completely taken over the property. Thick branches were hanging over the walkway, weeds covered the ground, and entire sections of the yard had become inaccessible. Curious, I walked to the front door and introduced myself to the homeowner. Her name was Eleanor Brooks, an 87-year-old retired elementary school teacher. For 43 years, Eleanor dedicated her life to educating children in her community. She spent decades helping struggling students learn to read, build confidence, and believe in themselves. Many of her former students went on to become successful adults, and some still sent her Christmas cards every year thanking her for changing their lives. Sadly, life looked very different for Eleanor today. After losing her husband nearly 12 years ago, she continued living alone in the home they had shared together. Her son lived across the country, her daughter rarely visited, and most days passed without seeing another person. Eleanor survived on a modest fixed income and tried her best to remain independent despite her declining health. Years of severe arthritis had left her hands swollen and painful. Chronic back problems made bending nearly impossible. The giant bougainvillea hedge continued growing larger every season, but Eleanor simply no longer had the strength to control it. Then things became even worse. A few weeks earlier, the HOA had issued her a formal violation notice along with a $750 fine. The letter stated that the overgrown vegetation had become a safety concern and needed to be cleared immediately. If the problem wasn't fixed within 2 weeks, additional penalties would follow. When Eleanor showed me the notice, I could see the stress in her eyes. She wasn't ignoring the problem, she simply wasn't physically capable of doing the work anymore. That's when I offered to help. After receiving her permission, I spent the day trimming back the enormous bougainvillea, removing tangled branches, clearing weeds, reopening the blocked walkway, and restoring safe access around the property. Slowly, the house began looking cared for again. When everything was finally finished, Eleanor stood quietly staring at the transformation, on her eyes filled with tears. A few moments later, she reached into an old worn purse and carefully pulled out several